sassy soul. I'm so excited. This is so awesome. This is the first episode of reviewing Asian dramas. I am geeking out. I love this stuff. Oh, by the way, just let's first get this out of the way. You know, I remember there was a time, and it was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and people were like, you're weird, like, you're watching Asian dramas, this is so strange. My cousins would come over on vacation, like, from school or something, and I'd be like, let's watch a Japanese movie or something. And they'd be like, what? This is strange, this is weird. And, like, it turns out I was just ahead of the curve. I went over to my sister's, like, friend's house the other day, and they were just sitting around watching Oh My Ghostess. I'm like, okay, this is a thing now. I'm ahead, you know? Also, another thing, to set expectations for these reviews, for this series, I'm not gonna look fabulous all the time. It's too much. Let's just get it out there. This lip gloss is, you know, this lip gloss is what I'm going with. All right, so I decided to go to Netflix because that's really cool. I'm so happy they have all of these dramas on Netflix that I can choose from. Usually you have to go, I mean, back in the day, you had to go on to Drama Fever. Usually my online source is Viki, but oh my gosh, they're putting all of these dramas on Netflix. And there's a bunch of movies on Amazon Prime. But let's just start with Netflix, okay? So I looked on Netflix, and there were some that interested me. One I was interested in was Secret Healer. It kind of had a supernatural element. It was like a period piece, you know, it's kind of like a teenage drama, it looks like. Has the girl from A Man from Nowhere, so I was like, yes. Then I also saw Stranger. Stranger, it was like, it has Duna Bay. Oh my gosh, I'm in love with Duna Bay ever since I saw Sense8. She was like the only reason I was watching that show. She kicked some serious butt and I was here for it, okay? She was the reason, okay? And then there was Erased, and I found out Erased was a Japanese drama, so that's a little bit different. They're kind of different in tone, so I was like, don't know about that right now. It also looked kind of melodramatic. What I ended up settling on was Black. So Black is this new Korean drama, and I decided to give it a try, and the description says, notorious for his cold-heartedness, Grim Reaper 444 is a big name in the other world, but his newly assigned partner threatens to ruin his reputation. That's not the description I initially read. Initially, the description I read said, there is a girl who sees death, and there's a man possessed by death, and they work together, something like that. But anyway, I was intrigued. I said, I'm gonna give this a try. So before I get into the recap, short story, I'm entertained so far. I wanna keep going. I have some, you know, some doubts already, but, you know, I want to keep going. It's entertaining. It's keeping my attention. That's a short story. Now let me get into the recap. Here we go. So the recap, guys, the story opens and I don't know what the heck is going on because the guy is like diving into the ocean. He dives to the bottom of the ocean and there's a car submerged, right? And he goes into the car and he like opens the door in the ocean, right? And he like has this body in his hands, but it doesn't even look like a body. It looks like a dummy. But he's shaking it. He's like, is this me? And I'm like, what is going on? Is he dead? Like, is this a dream? I don't understand. It's a really weird way to start the show, right? Especially since after that isn't really mentioned again. No. Then they show him, you know, I guess present day, very much alive, and he is a detective, right? And he's a detective who keeps throwing up on people. It's very strange. So I guess he's supposed to be a bumbling detective or something, right? And his captain is always berating him. Oh, by the way, this guy, I was like, I have seen him somewhere. I know him from somewhere. I've seen him from somewhere. He used to be in all of like the like Korean romantic comedies like from I think the early 2000s. So that's where I had seen him because I initially watched all those like, you know, way back in the day. So I was happy to finally place him. He has this backstory that I don't understand. I don't understand it. But anyway, I think enough about him because I really don't feel like he's the main point of the story for me. The detective goes and gets like, goes to a fast food place. I think it's like to get a burger or something. And there's a girl at the counter. At first she comes off like rude, but then like over time you see that no, she's just kind of been ostracized by people. I'd be rude too. But anyway, it's this girl and you find out her name is Kang Haram, I guess. Yeah, Haram Kang. I'm gonna have to decide whether I'm gonna say these names Korean or American. And she can see the shadow of death, right? And I feel so bad for her, this poor baby, because it first starts off like her ex-boyfriend comes in and her ex-boyfriend's like, hey, been a while, huh? And she's like, yeah, what's your order? Right? Then as the ex-boyfriend is about to leave, she's like, wait, hold on, don't leave, one more minute. And he's like, oh, like, this is why I dumped you, you're so pathetic. Like, right? He's awful. And so she's like, okay. And she lets him walk out the door. He immediately gets hit by a bus. You know, not funny if it were true. But yeah, he immediately gets hit by a bus because she can see the shadow of death. And she saw the shadow of death on him, right? So that's when we're introduced to her character. She feels really bad about that. She feels like she's cursed, right? But unfortunately, it just keeps happening to her. So she goes to get on an airplane, right? And suddenly she sees everybody has a shadow of death on them and she immediately knows everybody on the airplane is gonna die, right? So she just starts screaming bloody murder, like, you have to unload the airplane, you have to unload the airplane. They didn't unload the airplane. They sent it into the sky and they just pulled her off, right? The airplane crashed and she gets pulled into the police station. Because they're like, how'd you know that the plane was going down? And she was like, I just see the shadow of death. And they were like, okay. At the police station, she meets up with, you know, our other main character, who is, I believe his name was Hanjun. I don't know if he had a middle name or a two-part name. Hanjun, Detective Han, right? So he he sees her and he like empathizes with her and he gives her a ride home, and on the way home they see another guy who's about to jump off the bridge and he's like, don't worry about that guy, he comes here every day for like the last 2 years saying he's gonna jump off. And she's like, that guy's gonna die. And he's like, no, he's not gonna die. He comes here every day for the past 2 years. And she's like, you still don't believe me. And he dies. He jumps off that day. Yeah. After he like believes her, because the guy jumped off the bridge, he comes to her house. He's like, we could work together. We could save people, right? And she finally gets up her courage to go save people. So the person that she chooses to save, right? She chooses to save this guy who's going to the mall, and she tries all sorts of things to keep him from going to the mall. Finally, she gets in contact with the detective and they lock him up, right? But then she's like, you know, I don't think it was just him. I think that there was going to be a shooter, and the shooter was going to try to kill a bunch of people at this mall, right? So they lock up the guy who was going to be shot, and they lock up the potential shooter, and the detective's like, you did a good thing today. See, you're not cursed. You're blessed, lady. You're blessed, right? And they're like, yeah, right? But unfortunately, it was the wrong guy, and the detective, who, you know, you can tell is like a really kind guy, he goes, like, the guy who was about to be shot, he's like, I was gonna go pick up my mom. She has dementia. She's at the mall, right? And so he's like, okay, I'll go pick up your mom, right? So he goes and picks up the mom, and then too late, the girl, you know, Kang Haram, she finds out that, oh my gosh, you know, I didn't get the right shooter. And basically the detective has gone in the guy's place, and the detective gets shot. This poor baby. Just something else that she can blame herself for. Like, it's just terrible. And on top of that, she finds out that the detective had been her childhood friend who moved away when she was little. So she feels horrible. She tries to like go home and commit suicide, and like mid-suicide she is like interrupted, and she finds out that the guy is supposedly still alive, right? But if you go and like the drama plays the hospital scene, right? And you can tell that the guy clearly died, but he's kind of alive. The way that the episode ends is there's somebody creeping into the cadaver room, and they want to come and take out his eyes, but they can't because he sits right up when they're about to take out his eyes. That's how episode 1 ends. Ba-ba-ba-ba!